Today on Running to Him.
How we treat others, particularly those in need, is important to God. Today we will read Deuteronomy chapters 24 and 25 and concentrate on chapter 24, verses 10 through 15. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verses 10 through 15 says, "When you make your neighbor a loan of any sort, you shall not enter his house to take his place. You shall remain outside, and the man whom you make the loan to shall bring the pledge out to you. If he is a poor man, you shall not sleep with his pledge. When the sun goes down, you shall surely return his pledge to him, that he may sleep in his cloak and bless you, and it will be righteous for you before the Lord your God. You shall not oppress a hired servant who is poor and needy, whether he is one of your countrymen or one of aliens who is in your land and your towns. You shall give him his wages on the day before the sun sets, for he is poor, and he sets his heart on it, so that he will not cry against you to the Lord, and it becomes sin to you." Now, I hear from those who don't have a relationship with Christ certain things about those who do have that relationship. This situation is particularly true when Christians act in a manner contrary to the way that those who don't have a relationship with Christ might think that Christians should act. They might say something like, "That's not very Christian of you." Unfortunately, sometimes they're right. Occasionally, we respond to poverty in a very poor way. Now, this chapter of Deuteronomy addresses some aspects of interpersonal relationships. The section I chose today focuses on those with a monetary need. Jesus tells us that the poor will always be with us. See Matthew 26, verse 11. Therefore, God set some rules for the Jews concerning how to interact with that poverty. First, the lender was never to go into the residence of a person receiving the money to collect the collateral. They were to wait outside the door, and the borrower would bring it to them. If that person was poor, the lender would not sleep with the pledge, meaning he didn't keep it until it was paid. He was to return it by sundown. And finally, the business owner, farmer, and the like were to pay the daily wages properly to the poor and promptly. The purpose of the rule was so that the laborer could purchase what he needed to survive that day. But what do these rules have to do with us? Well, the rules don't. The principles do. First, if we are the lender, we must treat the borrower respectfully. Going into their home to collect the collateral may demean that person because it might expose them to embarrassment or shame. Everyone needs to be treated respectfully, and it goes further than that. We are to treat anyone in need respectfully. The second principle is that we must have a relationship or at least some kind of knowledge of that person. In biblical days, people tended to sleep in their outer clothes. If the lender took that as collateral, he was potentially causing a borrower discomfort while he was sleeping. The principle here is that we should not purposely cause anyone unnecessary discomfort. Now, some might point to the homeless population and point out that they are living on the street, potentially carrying disease or doing criminal behavior. And while there is that possibility, removing the homeless from the streets and offering them some help they need is not the same as maybe spraying them with a fire hose. The final principle is to pay what is due when it is due. If we owe a debt, then we should pay that debt. We just received a credit card statement. Tony and I use our credit cards to budget ourselves. We generally pay off the entire card bill each month unless the item we purchase offers a payment over time with no interest. In that way, we can save money and still meet our obligations. Note, extending payments is only used on major ticket items such as cars, appliances, and major repairs. Otherwise, the bills are paid each and every month. God has principles for Christians to follow. He didn't make them to punish us. He made them so that we would look and act more like Him.
Thank you for listening. We pray that today's devotion was meaningful to you. We would love to hear from you. You can use either Facebook or YouTube to like, subscribe, share, and tell others about us. If you would like to contact us, you can reach me at phineasjacobus@runningtohim.net.